This is Umar for BoxNation in association with Global Next Trade. Firstly, thank you very much for making the time. I know you've done a few interviews, and I think that has to be pointed out first, Don, that you're a vocal guy, and in the build-up you were vocal, and the result didn't go your way. So you could have easily shied away from doing stuff, but you're actually putting yourself out there. So yeah, just a comment on that, I guess, firstly, Don.
No, yeah. Um, Good afternoon, Umar. Yes, absolutely. I was very vocal prior leading up to the fight, and it's only right to remain vocal because there's no place for hiding. Just like in a boxing ring, there's no hiding.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about that build up then, because there's narrative that's been put out that perhaps you guys got it wrong in terms of poking the bear too much with Oleksandr Usyk. So, what would your thoughts and response to that be, Don?
No, no regrets whatsoever. Not being arrogant. This is a fight. Like I always say, if you remember our post-fight interview you did with me after the AJ fight, and I said the art of war. That's all a part of it. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't work for you. I was merely trying to, yes, poke the guy to get a reaction, poke him to maybe unsettle him. And in some cases, I could see it was working, but yeah, maybe it's a part of what cheered him on to be more aggressive in the fight, granted. And if it had worked, guess what? I'm a genius. It didn't work, so I'm not a genius.
Yeah, look, and I'm going to point out a lot of things here that people might be shocked about looking from the outside, and I can understand why. But being kind of involved quite close to the camp in the last few fights, I understand the dynamics in terms of how it works with Stan, the father, and how sort of Team Dubois operates. I have that kind of understanding. So the things that are coming out of it, I'm not truly shocked by. I'm going to ask you about them still.
So you're not shocked by it, or you're shocked by it, did you
Not
say?
shocked because I understand how the dynamics work with Team
You
Dubois.
do?
Yes.
All right. Let's hear you.
So we'll start with actually the arrival and the pre-fight gathering. Now,
Mhm.
what I've said just there
Oh,
before,
so it's not a party, yeah?
well, some people are labeling it a party.
Okay.
I mean, whatever you want. I would say it
Yeah.
was a house gathering. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I would label it. Go ahead.
Now, the same thing happened in the Anthony Joshua fight. It's the first time I'd heard of something like that, of Daniel doing that. But it wasn't talked about afterwards because Daniel obliterated Anthony Joshua in that ring, and you guys had an incredible night, and it wasn't even talked about. Um, this time around, there's a lot of people who obviously might not have known that and are shocked about it, and that's why there's been this massive sort of outburst about it afterwards. But was the thinking it worked the first time, so let's do it the second time? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, you will be correct in assuming that because um, it's like anything, like you said, not a lot was made about it prior, whether people knew about it or they didn't. Something triggered that ring walk. I did allude to the fact that they was asking me in the studio afterwards, where did Daniel find that energy, that attitude to I said, look, he had a gathering at his home. This is the fight day for AJ fight, yeah? It's the same gathering to drum up energy, to drum up vibes, vibrations, yeah, positive vibrations, which aided him to leave his home, make his way to Wembley. They brought that vibration into the dressing rooms, the energy, which gave birth to the ring walk that everybody was talking about after the fight. In fact, after the fight, they were talking more about the ring walk than anything.
Mhm.
So that's the energy that he brought to the fight and got the win. Then we've been trusted with this mammoth task to fight against Oleksandr Usyk for the undisputed. So we revisited the energy that was created for the AJ fight by having a gathering on the fight day at Daniel's home.
Right. So that makes sense because you want to take that energy that worked in the first time to the second time. The bit that Simon Jordan raised on talkSPORT, which was alarming to me, was
Hmm.
that, and I don't know if this is completely true, it's just what Simon said. I want to make that clear. He
Hmm.
did say that there was some people that Daniel didn't know at the gathering, and that's why he wanted to drive away from it and get himself away from it. That to me doesn't seem like a good energy. So can you
But
comment on that?
that's what is. You should ask Simon. Somebody should ask Simon. Was he in attendance at this gathering?
Well, he wasn't.
Right. Well, I'm assuming he wasn't. So to arrive at that conclusion is hearsay. What he was told, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, that's what he was told by whoever. So I can't confirm or deny, but nevertheless, let's paint a scenario that uh, however how many people there was at that gathering, is Daniel forced to know everybody? He would have probably recognized a high percentage of the people there. Maybe there might be a few people, that percentage that he didn't know, right? That's not unusual at a gathering. He's not forced to know every. We've all attended gatherings, whether it's even in our house. When I have a, there's people bring people, guests. They're invited plus one, plus two, whatever. Uh, the host is not necessarily like to know everybody in attendance. That's what I can assume that's happened here. Okay. He went for a drive. Is that an unusual thing? If the young man wanted to get some air or whatever, go just so you know, it is fight day, right? He might have felt for a moment, let me just go for a drive around the corner, around the block. Is there a law in that? No, I don't have a problem with that. So I don't understand why people seem to have more a problem with somebody's, how can I put it, their lifestyle or their approach, let's say, to a fight. Everybody has rituals they do. If you speak to every professional fighter, they too will have their fight, their ritual. Some do, some don't. So each to their own.
That car thing and driving away, let me just put it to you differently. The norm, I guess, is to we think, and you'll know better being in the business for so long and being so close to so many fighters, that on specifically a fight then and the magnitude of that, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, everything should be perfect. Now, if he's wanted to get away from it, look, you might be right. He just wanted maybe a break and a bit of fresh air, and there was
I
nothing
might be
wrong.
right. I might, just think about it. I wouldn't, people are looking too deep into it. The young man went for a drive. That's like, I wasn't there. I can't confirm that. This is all what we're hearing. He went for a drive. Okay, he went for a drive. You know, Sometimes I fancy like going for, okay, I'm not a fighter. I'm not on the day preparing for a fight. If he chooses to go for a drive, I don't think there's any law on that I shouldn't go for a drive.
Uh, uh, if, and this is a big if what was going on pre at the house was irritating or he didn't like it and that's why he wanted to get away, that's an issue then, isn't it, Don, if that's the case?
Um, I've seen pictures. I don't know if it is from this gathering. Daniel seemed really happy to me in the picture. I don't know if you've seen. It's actually not a picture. It's a
It's a
video.
video. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I've seen it.
yeah. So it didn't look like somebody who was stressed in that video.
Hmm. Okay. Aside from the pre-fight gathering, arriving to Wembley Stadium, so you guys, as in yourself, Kieran, the
Correct.
training team, had arrived, hours before. About 8:30, which is an hour and 50 till he ring walked Daniel. He arrived at Wembley Stadium. Now, is that
Yeah,
enough time? An hour and 50?
yeah. Well, there's a cutoff line. Obviously, I'm in communication with the father. Uh, there's a cutoff line that I gave them. They must be at Wembley so that we can start our prep,
Hmm.
fight prep in the dressing rooms, and they met there. So I don't have no complaints with that. 90 minutes is an ample time to do what I need to do, wrap his hands. And there's this thing going around as well that Usyk had already wrapped his hands prior to that. No, we sent a man to their room. That's compulsory, and they sent a man to our room at the same time. So we wrapped hands at the same time. Okay, so even if they're wrapped before us, it's not unusual. It's fine as long as I've got adequate time to get my guy ready. Nothing was rushed. Okay, and we got ready in time. So absolutely no complaints from me whatsoever to do with it.
Okay. The other point about the arrival, which I want to get your thoughts on, Don, is that there was a big entourage there. And again, these are reports. I don't know these for fact, but they have
Mm,
been said on talkSPORT
mm,
that Stan Daniel's father said these people are coming in with us, and
mm,
security said no, you can't have this amount of people coming in. And Stan then again, I said this is what's been said on talkSPORT
mm.
that the fight won't happen. Daniel won't fight if these people don't come in, uh, and basically said to security, we won't fight unless these people come in. How did you feel about that big entourage coming into the changing room?
Right. Let's walk back a couple of steps from what you just
Hmm.
information you just provided. Right. I was not aware of any entourage being refused entrance, nor was I aware of any uh, 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 what's the right word, demands of Daniel is not fighting unless these people come in. So I can't really comment on something that I wasn't aware of. I wasn't aware of this to literally the following day. So again, I can't comment on something that I wasn't aware of. I wasn't there at that point, and I wasn't aware of it. So it would be wrong of me to comment on that.
Okay. Were there too many people in the changing room? Yes or no?
No, no. You did you come into the changing rooms
I
yourself?
did. I did.
It
Yeah.
was a very large changing room that normally accommodates a football team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 11 players plus staff plus substitutes. It's a huge dressing room. So these is family members. They were all at one end of the dressing room, and our prep is there. Whatever I'm saying to you, you can go and replay, and you see exactly what I'm describing to you. That's how the dressing room was. It's a humongous dressing room. This is Wembley we're talking about. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
your call. So therefore, there was adequate room. No complaints. They were all kept. They were quiet when they needed to be quiet. When there was time to raise the voices to jeer, this young man is going into a fight, the biggest fight of his career. We thought the AJ fight was the biggest. Yeah, this eclipsed it, and so the whole thing was designed to aid Daniel to recreate the energy that he had to go into the ring when he fought Anthony Joshua to pull off again what would be a historic victory. It didn't happen. We did all the preliminaries. We did all the same approach. It didn't work. We lost the fight. So we should be more concentrating on what happened about the fight rather than things that it didn't affect me preparing Daniel and the dress. If it did, I would be the first to say I was not given enough time to. No, absolutely no such thing happened. 90 minutes, like I said, is the duration of a full football match. That's more than enough to do what we needed to do. So that's all I wanted. If it was like an hour, 60 minutes, then I may have a problem with that. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. So before we come on to the fight itself, one more thing. In the changing room when he was on the pads with yourself and Kieran, when he was just
Mhm.
warming up, how did you feel about Daniel then? What vibe did you get? Did you get nervous vibes? Did you get confident vibes? How was it?
It's hard to read Daniel. Ask any of his opponents. It's really hard to read the kid. He should think of taking a poker because it's hard to read. But I've known him long enough now to know he was in fight mode. Yeah, he pounces around in the dressing room like reminiscent of a prime Mike Tyson. That's what he reminds me of in the dressing rooms. Yeah. So when a fighter is in a zone, like you just have to be you're there for him. So everything I read there actually suggested that he's gonna go there and do some damage.
Mm.
That's the body language I was reading. Yeah.
Okay. When I did come into the changing room, a clear instruction from you was, look, just hit anything, go to the body, hit his shoulders, hit
That's the
his
game
arms.
plan. Any flesh visible
Exactly,
within
because he's
within the rules.
yeah, of course, because he's such a powerful man. So that made complete sense. in the actual fight, he threw one body shot. Why was that?
Right. That's again, sorry to keep taking out of its context, just to give people a wider picture to compare it to another sport, let's say. Yeah? A football drill, a football team, it could be Man United, it could be Man City, it could be Tottenham, it could be Arsenal, right? You've trained and trained and trained to go and play in the final. Yeah?
Yep.
And the manager is giving you instructions. You've got to take the ball down the wing, cross it, and somebody should be there to head it in to score a goal. You've drilled it, you've practiced it. On the day, you're trying to do it, and the opposition says, no, we know that's your plans. We're going to block you doing that. So Usyk has a lot to do with what you just asked me, in the sense that, of course, that was the game plan, but it's hard to hit a target that's moving. Yeah? You need a static target, stationary target, to be able to administer those punches you're wanting to see. That you saw, I was very vocal about hitting any flesh on sight, but this flesh was moving, and it's hard. And if you start swinging and missing, it takes a lot of energy to miss. So Daniel's tracking him. The instructions: keep tracking him, stay patient, track him. Then if you manage to get him stationary for a moment, then offload. Usyk is too smart. He just, every time he knows Daniel was going to offload, he moves and pops his own shot out. So it's unless you've been in the ring, I'm generalizing, not yourself, generalizing to the audience. Unless you've been in the ring and contested that at some level, then will you start to understand what's actually happening in that ring.
There was a moment, I think it was early on in the fight, I remember in the second round, I can't exactly remember the round, but I remember watching it visibly at ringside. Daniel had Oleksandr Usyk in the corner. And at that moment, I just thought Daniel might unleash a combination, go to the
Yeah.
body, even the shoulders, then one up the top. It looked like he had Usyk stationary for a moment, and he didn't. He was reluctant really to let anything go. And
Yeah.
at that point, I thought, oh no, the fight's got away here. Why do you think he didn't let his hands go in that point when Usyk was stationary?
Right. If I knew the answer to that, I would tell you. Okay. He's the one in the ring. He's the one knowing when to throw, when not to throw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably looking to throw the perfect shot, whereas the instructions was to throw any shot. But Usyk being a counter puncher, which is where the fight was concluded, so he was being cautious to just throw in any punch in case he got countered. So unless people have boxed, and against a southpaw, it's a different ballgame to fight an orthodox fighter. Yeah, this is against not just an ordinary southpaw. It's an extraordinary southpaw who's like I said, this guy's a maverick. He's a genius in the boxing ring. He's with probably the highest IQ in history of the sport. Like Mayweather, like Canelo, these people have Shakur Stevens. They have these high IQs. They're ahead of play. Lionel Messi, as a footballer, they're ahead of the play. They can predict and determine what you're going to do next. This is what you're dealing with. You understand? So unless people have boxed to some level, then would they start to appreciate what Usyk? I appreciated. I know exactly what we were going into. Like I said, I had to come up with the mother of all game plans to be able to have an effect on this guy. And believe me, we did have a good game plan, but the opposition has something to do to dismantle your game plan, like he's been doing to everyone that's faced him. He's unbeaten as we speak. Many have tried, and many have failed miserably, including us.
Okay. Now, just like the pre-fight gathering, I mentioned that wasn't really a shock to me because I knew it happened before the Joshua fight. Again, the corner situation wasn't a shock to me because if you look at the Miller fight where Frank dragged his father into the corner halfway through the fight, if you look at the Hrgovic fight where Stan was in the corner, look at the Joshua fight, Stan was in the corner. It wasn't a surprise to me that, in fact, this time Stan and Frank were both in the corner and there was multiple voices. So it wasn't a shock to me because it worked before. Now, ideally, as a head trainer, the norm is you have one voice, one clear voice. That is the norm. doesn't always happen. It's not happened previously with Daniel and his magnificent wins in the last couple of years, but that is the norm. In an ideal world, Don, as a head coach, someone who's been in this game for so long, would you like to be the only voice in the corner as the head trainer?
In an ideal, you said, yeah?
Yes.
Right. This is a different situation. Daniel needs his dad in the corner. Let's identify that first and foremost. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, I am the main voice that will tell him the instructions, yeah, in a calm voice of what I need him to do. But he needs to hear his father. Okay? He needs to hear and see his father.
Can you explain
So,
to the viewers why that's so important? I have a bit of an understanding, but why is it?
because he's got a unique relationship with his father. There's nothing wrong with that. I promote that and I encourage that and I embrace that.
So what was the big instruction after round one, after round two to Daniel? What was the instruction being given?
Keep your shape, which he maintained his shape all throughout. Keep your shape, keep the left side of your guard up. You're facing a southpaw. Be patient. He's going to be moving a lot. Track him, nail him. You see an opportunity, nail him. Double up your jab, triple up your jab, just to get your feet into place to then throw the big shots. Yeah? As far as I was concerned, what I was watching, I was happy with. We could have thrown more punches, granted, like you quite alluded some parts earlier on in the fight. There was periods you thought he was going to let it, and he didn't. Okay? But he still kept his shape, which was my main concern. Keep your shape at all times. Keep your discipline at all times. He was able to, and also, in the first fight we had, Daniel had with Usyk in Poland, Usyk pinned us on our back foot for at least 85/90% of the duration of that fight. What did we achieve in this fight? Daniel was doing right. It was 50-50. At times he had Usyk on his back foot. At times Usyk had Daniel on his back foot for this fight that happened last Saturday. Okay? So he got that part of it right about not being consistently pinned on your back foot. Usyk normally is very good with his front foot and his front arm control. We kind of Daniel nullified that in lots of periods of that duration of that fight. We achieved that. People might think, what are you talking about? Because in the fashion we lost, they're not only going to criticize, but we're open. When you win, you get praised. When you lose, you get criticized. That's a part of it.
Was Daniel doubling up his jab enough for you in that fight?
No, no.
Yeah. Okay. Right. The ending, the fifth round. So Daniel goes down. A first time he gets back up. He wants to fight on. He goes down obviously a second time.
Sorry, Omar, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Right.
go on.
So you just said he goes down, he gets up. Yeah? Okay,
Correct.
let's take the get up part and put it just on momentarily, put it on the shelf. Carry on, please.
Yeah. So he goes down, gets up, takes a beautiful left hand from Oleksandr Usyk. At that point, I thought, he looked completely finished. The referee starts counting, obviously. Now Daniel is looking. He's looking at his father. Am I
For the
correct in
corner,
saying?
for the corner.
Okay.
That's his instructions. If you ever find yourself, that's not the first time. The same instructions in Poland. If you ever find yourself, then look for the corner. I think every trainer will tell you this. Yeah?
So
Look
he
for your corner for instructions.
so he was looking at his corner. Do you think at 7, 8, or 9 he could have got up, Don?
If his legs let him, only he could answer you that. And to ask any boxer who's been knocked down, if you want to get up, if your legs is not there, you're not going to get up.
I
Like you
asked that
said,
because after
that's
sorry,
sorry.
I asked that because after the fight
Mm-hmm.
had ended, when he walked back to your corner, he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't staggering. He walked back
No,
with
he
a straight.
wasn't. Thank God for that. Thank God for that.
Do you think if the fight had carried on, i.e., he had got up, Usyk would have completely flattened him on a third knockdown?
Well, Yes, I'm going to say yes to that because, come on, you might have got up. You might not know where you are. There was a tremendous shot that took Daniel down. Dan's a big guy. Yeah, it was the most perfect pitch of a left hand that Usyk landed. And I saw the way my guy fell. Yeah. So this quitter got up from the first knockdown. Quitters, if he was a quitter, he wouldn't have gotten up from the first. And that was a horrible knockdown as well. It was a southpaw right hook behind the ears, right? Back of the head, which sends your equilibrium all over the place. Yeah. He got up, took the can, got up, and guess what? Not only did he get up, he started to like literally have a trade-off with Usyk. Whether that's right or wrong, instinctively he wanted to, I gotta do something here. Yeah. He got knocked out during a trade-off with Usyk. He got countered. He threw a perfectly good right hand, partially caught Usyk with it, and Usyk, being the genius, masterful boxer he is, countered it with a beautiful left hand to end the fight. So it's not the first time a boxer has taken a punch and gone down, and not. In this case, he got up. Quitters don't get up. Granted, he got up and he walked. He did after the referee had waved it off. What is he supposed to do? Stand there?
So the likes of people who have had opinions on this about Daniel quitting in this fight,
Yeah.
Tony
The
Bellew,
usual, yeah, the usual culprits. Yeah.
Derek Chisora has also said
We
he thought the same.
we know who they are. They know who they are. They're two. One of them is retired. One is still active, right? And I'm not going to elaborate on that. That's their own personal issues. They have issues with it. Yeah, to persecute this young man. Well, we happen to, his family, his friends, his coaching staff, his team are so proud of him, of what he's achieved in such a young age, 27 years of age. And heavyweights don't come into their like maturity to in a few years from now. So the future is bright. The main thing, he came away from there healthy. He's not in hospital. He got checked out on the night, the usual checks. He wasn't concussed, nothing. He's fine. And that's the main thing.
Okay. Two things I just want to end on. So, firstly, on Daniel Dubois, do you think someone who's 27 years old has literally fought everyone there is um, in this era, maybe bar Fury? Do you think he will
Parker,
Parker as well? Do you think he will
Takayev.
become? Yeah, there's plenty, but you know what I mean, like Usyk,
Exactly.
Weiss,
Yeah.
Joshua, Hergovich,
Yeah.
Miller.
Yeah.
Um,
No, he's already fought Hog of Jan Miller.
exactly. That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
talking about people who hasn't, he's yet to
Okay, but
encounter.
what I'm saying for 27-year-old Joyce, Usyk twice,
Yeah.
Joshua, Hergovich, Miller, he's fought basically everyone for his age. Do you think he will become a heavyweight world champion again?
Nor do I think, I believe, and in my beliefs, if it's God's will, we will certainly have the will. Daniel Dubois, the fighter, myself as the coach, the desire, the hunger, and if it's God's plans, that's the way it's been planned. We planned as humans to be victorious on Saturday. It didn't go our way. God has plans. Tunde Ajayi, we always talk, he says, God don't make mistakes. So when these things happen, people seems to, of course, we're deeply disappointed about we didn't get the victory. I'm hurting as I sit here. Of course I am. Yeah, I want to win. We want to win. But I have to remind myself of what I preach is that God has the master plan. I wanted it to happen Saturday. Again, God says, no, not yet. So we will receive it when it's Daniel's time to receive it.
And last one, okay, separate to Daniel Dubois, is Oleksandr Usyk unbeatable? Can anyone do it? I mean, Joseph Parker, maybe a Fury trilogy, Moses Atalma. Can anyone beat this guy?
He's human. And for me, I mean, he said that he wanted two fights, one being against Daniel, then he wanted to have another fight, then he's going to call it a day. I'm hoping that is the case because what makes him human is that the longer, law of averages, the longer he risks, every time he goes in there, he risks. He's not, listen, even if he loses his next fight, are you going to look at him in a different light? No. The guy has achieved, overachieved. Yeah. what else is there for him to? There isn't. Yeah. So I think do the right thing, in my opinion. Have that one more fight, win it, and bail out. In the event that he doesn't win it, he's a human being. And like I said, I'm not going to look at Oleksandr Usyk any less than what he is, and I don't think anyone in their right mind would either.
One thing I do actually want to mention just before we close off is the crowd, the atmosphere, the British public who came out at Wembley Stadium for both Oleksandr and Daniel, of course, being the Brit, was incredible event. I know the result and outcome was very different
Yeah,
from what you guys intended and wanted, but the event was incredible.
yeah. I mean, you have to again thank the crowd, the British public. That I mean, boxing is so alive in the UK. Yeah, it's unbelievable. To do Wembley back to back and fill it, that's remarkable. And I'm proud, irrespective of all the negative surrounding our loss. It is our loss, yeah. All the negative surrounding, irrespective of that, I feel blessed, privileged to be involved in two historic moments in my life. For if I never ever coach again and achieve anything again, I can say my grandchildren can say, Grandpa was at that event, the one with Anthony Joshua and this one with Oleksandr Usyk. I think it's something to be proud of. But guess what, guys? It's not ended. It's just starting.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Listen, Don, appreciate your time. As I said, you haven't sort of hid away after the loss. You've
No
been
chance. No chance. No chance. You know me. No chance. Yeah.
well. Listen, thank you, and hopefully we'll speak soon, Don.
God bless you, man.
God bless you too. Thank you.